The headlines tell you it's about illegal immigrants. But if you believe that, you're missing the real story. I'm Steve Sandford. You're watching Dominion Report. In Los Angeles right now, ICE agents are detaining people without warrant. Protesters are being prodded into violent acts by National Guard troops. And yet, none of this is really about immigrants. It's about control, and it's about power. And it's exactly what was written into Project 2025, a document that told us, step by step, how this administration would attempt this very type of authoritarian power grab. Now, I've got two other videos that either have been or will be released in the days surrounding this one. The three of them kind of go together, so it'll be worth your while to check out the other two. I will put the links into the comments below once they are all available. It is important to understand what Project 2025 really is. It is a blueprint. It is a playbook, if you will, and it was written by the Heritage Foundation and endorsed by dozens of extreme right-wing organizations. Most of those Heritage Foundation authors now play prominent roles in the Trump administration. Project 2025 is intended to reshape the United States federal government into a centralized instrument of executive power. Let's just review some of the things that it calls for and which of those have been achieved. A purge of the federal bureaucracy, check. Control of formerly independent agencies like the FBI, check. The DOJ, check. The DHS, check. And many others. An immigration policy framed as warfare, not humanitarian law enforcement, but warfare. I would say check. That one's definitely happening, and there's a reason for it. How about military and law enforcement apparatus nationwide that is loyal to the president, not to the Constitution? Let's call that one a work in progress, and we'll probably circle back to it. They want immigration to be seen as a threat because that makes public crackdowns easier to sell. That's why for years we have seen the demonization of immigrants. And they don't need to sell it to everybody. They just need to sell it to enough people so that there is some government support when others who see it for what it is oppose the illegal crackdown. Because the chaos in LA isn't accidental, it is by design. This component of Project 2025 is a strategy to provoke resistance and then use that resistance to justify more repression and ultimately an authoritarian power grab. This is right out of the old playbook of Hitler, of Mussolini, of Pinochet, and many others. Start by stirring unrest. Frame it as public disorder. Step in as the protector with military police, and when the protests turn violent, authorize extreme executive power. And those members of the public, the ones who didn't join the protest because they believed the government's propaganda, in this case about immigrants, those are the ones who are ultimately allowing the authoritarian power grab to happen. Do you remember back in high school when we all learned about the rise of Hitler and the Nazi Party and how it just happened? And my teenage brain couldn't understand why everyone just allowed it to happen. Why didn't they just stop it? Now I know. I know exactly how it happened because we are seeing it happen. We're seeing it play out in real time right in front of us. The propaganda, like immigrants eating pets, give permission for half the population to allow the government to remove the freedoms of the other half, without realizing, of course, that those freedoms are being removed from them as well. Do not assume that this will be contained in Los Angeles. In fact, we've already seen some protests happening in Texas. Project 2025 outlines a federal occupation strategy where the president can override state governors, seize control of local law agencies, and suspend norms under the guise of national security. So what can we expect next? Well, here's a sneak preview of what's likely to happen. Aggressive ICE raids in other cities, quite likely also prompting protests and violence. Quite likely, you'll see legal efforts to criminalize protests with new anti-riot laws that are actually just anti-freedom laws. Continued rhetoric tying immigration and immigrants to drug cartels, terrorism, criminal activities, eating pets, that kind of stuff. And you'll see efforts to delegitimize sanctuary cities. Once a fabricated threat is reframed as a national emergency, almost any response can be justified, including suspension of civil liberties, escalation of force, and as we have seen historically, authoritarian power grabs that include the postponement or cancellation of federal elections. Yes, I'm talking about the midterms. If this has helped you see what's happening more clearly, please help others to do the same. Like and subscribe. That helps YouTube show this video to more people. In the meantime, stay safe, stay calm, elbows up.